intervention. I think Dr. Aylward.
I think we've covered the main points on this, but there was an interesting part of the question was about how they would be used. And one of the discussions we've had over the last couple of weeks, and the Director General has emphasized this, is that while vaccines are going to be an extremely important part of what we use in the fight against COVID, there will also be some limitations. And one we're concerned about is how well these vaccines, like others, will work in populations like the elderly and others. And this is where sometimes an intervention like the monoclonal antibodies can be very important, because potentially this may work in populations where a vaccine or others wouldn't. And that comes back to that point we've made over the last couple of weeks, and again the Director General emphasized today. The ACT Accelerator is really all about looking at that comprehensive integrated portfolio. We need diagnostics, we need therapeutics, we need vaccines, and the comments and questions just now about monoclonal antibodies really emphasize that. One last point I would make is that, again, you asked about the limitations. You know, there's such challenges in proving that monoclonal antibodies actually work. The design of these trials is complicated because of the endpoints in them, especially when you're looking to prevent a disease or change the course of what is usually a mild disease. And then the production ones we talked about, and then even the challenges of using them and making sure they're in the right places at the right time. So again, one more, like you say, promising part of the armamentarium against this disease. But like all of them, none are silver bullets, but together, hopefully, the combination will work like one.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aylward, Dr. Shamal, and Dr. Swaminathan. For the next question, we're going to Bosnia, to Esmir from N1 TV. Esmir, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Very well. Please go ahead.
So my question is, do you know how many countries from the Western Balkans has already joined COVAX? And also in line of this, some instances here in the Western Balkans are considering purchasing vaccines from Russia at the moment. Would you recommend to them to go ahead and purchase a vaccine from Russia, or to wait till we have a vaccine through COVAX accessible? Thank you.
Thank you. I think this is a question for Dr. Aylward.
Thank you very much for the question. So as the Director General mentioned, I think last week and again this morning, we've had 80 countries, just over countries and economies, actually express an interest to join the COVAX facilities. These would be self-financing countries, in addition to the 92 countries that would receive financial assistance through the COVAX facility, for a total of over 170. This number represents countries from every single region and area of the world. As many of the conversations are ongoing about the terms of the facility, as well as negotiations around those. Not all countries want that their names be publicized. So for that reason, as the negotiations are ongoing, we won't be able to talk about specific countries, other than some that have asked and said that they could use their names to promote the facility and the importance of it and the confidence in it. But we don't. We prefer that what's available on the website gives, and the Gavi websites and our own, gives you an update on who's joined at this point and has made their names public. Oh, also, sorry, on the point about joining COVAX as well, I want to be clear. It was a bit of a milestone yesterday, as the terms of agreement actually went out to all potentially what we call fully self-financing countries for the COVAX facility, and those are the terms now that lay out joining, whether or not you're joining through what we call the confirmed doses way, or through option doses, and to make an indication, confirm your intent by the 31st of August. So that was an important milestone that went out just yesterday. So in the coming weeks, we'll have a sense of how many actually have confirmed intent to join, because again, the question to me was how many have joined, and at this point we're in that expression of interest with confirmation of intent by the 31st of August. In terms of the second question about if WHO recommendations read specific vaccines, I think Dr. Swaminathan already answered that question, and WHO recommends vaccines through its pre-qualification or emergency use licensing process, which a vaccine would have to go through before we would, as an organization, recommend it for purchase.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aylward. For the next question, we go to Kai Kupferschmidt from Science. Kai, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?